This is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. A sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. And now, here is Alex C.
All right, here we go. It is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C., a sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. Let's start here. This is kind of cool. We thought something was going to happen. Obviously, it is going to happen. The NFL is going to honor John Madden with moment of silence at all Week 17 games. I think it is only appropriate that they do so. John Madden, again, in my opinion, captured the hearts of America. Not as an NFL coach. I don't think any NFL coach has had the ability to do that, whether it be collegiate or professional, but as a broadcaster, as a storyteller, as a man who shared his life and had the most unique take in regards to preparation for his broadcasts, as well as the broadcasts themselves, the great stories he told on Thanksgiving, which to me, ultimately, he is so famous for, as well as Christmas and the bus, the traveling, the people that he met on the road, all of those stories. Again, he was unique. He was a first of his kind. So to me, it makes sense that John Madden would get honored with a moment of silence. And I believe there are more things the NFL will and should do in the future in regards to honoring John Madden, who obviously, again, as a broadcaster, became someone that was a household name and synonymous with the NFL, synonymous with the game of football, and a overall fan favorite without a doubt. Other stories making news. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar slams LeBron James for his uninformed COVID meme. Basically, the story is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said LeBron James needs to be just as vocal about encouraging COVID vaccines as he is with social justice. Now, I don't have an opinion on this in any way, shape, or form. I am, however, going to put this up on my polls at my official Twitter page, which is at Yay or Nay Podcast. I am seeming to get that to work a little bit now. I'm not sure, again, what's going on with it. Otherwise, you can check my personal page at Alex C. Music. I will, again, have poll questions probably on both pages, seeing if I can get responses on either one of them. I know my personal page is working well. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my actual podcast page to do what it's supposed to do. But for whatever the reason is, Twitter keeps pushing all of my tweets, even my polls down. But I have had some success as of late, which I will be giving you results on those as of Monday of next week. But again, at Yay or Nay Podcast, the official Twitter page for the podcast, I have some new poll questions up for you now, and I will be putting one in regards to this particular topic after I finish today's broadcast. Again, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar slamming LeBron James for his uninformed COVID meme, stating that LeBron James needs to be just as vocal about encouraging COVID vaccines as he is with social justice. Another thing making news, we've been talking about it for a while. National media has been on this for a while. A lot of times, I get on the national media because they try to make basically a lot of noise about things that aren't necessarily topical, aren't necessarily real, are more of a fabricated story just to have a story to tell than anything else. And in this instance, I never really did criticize the national media in regards to this particular story, but I did say that this is something that should have happened about 7 years ago. Some people say I'm 7 years too early. I say I'm not, because this is something that should have happened a long time ago. Ben Roethlisberger is the story. I believe he has been ineffective as a quarterback for the past 7 years. And, again, no playoff wins, never a Super Bowl threat. Only thing that anybody ever said about the Pittsburgh Steelers was they had a great coach in Mike Tomlinson, and Big Ben was somebody who could put up some numbers. Numbers don't win you Super Bowls. So Big Ben, again, in my opinion, should have been let go 7 years ago, should have been playing for another team, or, again, benched, sidelined, replaced, whatever word you want to use. The story coming out now, though, is Big Ben said, and I quote, "If it is indeed my last regular season game here, it's going to be one of the most important games of my career." That is an exact quote from Big Ben. Obviously, he is now looking at the mortality of his career, and he is now seeing the end is near, if not, in fact, the end is here. So this game, this weekend, may very well be the last regular season game for Big Ben, and I predict it's probably going to be one of the highest rated games the Pittsburgh Steelers have had in quite some time. I know I personally will watch it just in case it is, in fact, his last game. Again, even though I think Big Ben should have retired 7 years ago because I think he's regressed and gotten worse each and every year, he is an icon. He is a legend. He probably is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I probably will watch the game just because you want to be a part of history. You want to see a part of history. So I will definitely be watching this game this weekend with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another story that came out, actually, I'm looking for it now. Let me see if I even have it. No, I don't have it, so I apologize. I thought I was going to talk about another story. I'll have to probably wait for that one next week. Let's get into the main thing that I wanted to talk about today, NFL Power Rankings. So yesterday we did the NBA Power Rankings. Today we will do the NFL Power Rankings, starting with number 1, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. With Patrick Mahomes out of the mix in the scenario, the Chiefs have several other candidates for this honor, but none have been consistent presence like Tyrann Mathieu. Of course, what they're talking about is the non-quarterback MVP. So ranking number 1, they're talking about MVPs. I apologize. I should have brought that up in the beginning. They're talking about non-quarterback MVPs. If you're not going to talk about Patrick Mahomes, they're saying Tyrann Mathieu could very well be an MVP candidate from the Kansas City Chiefs. If we were talking about non-quarterback MVP possibilities in the NFL, and again, I apologize. I should have told you that up front. That is part of the rankings and the story that was put out. Kansas City ranked number 1. Non-quarterback MVP, Tyrann Mathieu. Green Bay Packers coming in at number 2. I disagree, by the way, with this. Kansas City, first of all, is not the best team in the NFL. They should not be ranked number 1. They should be somewhere in the top 10, not necessarily even a top 5 team. And Green Bay should not be number 2. Right now, at this point in time, they should easily and arguably be the top-ranked team in the NFL. But in regards to MVPs that are not a quarterback, wide receiver Davante Adams would be the candidate from the Green Bay Packers. I would agree with that. We all know the Packers are 7-0 in games that Adams has missed since the 2019 season. But as Aaron Rodgers has said repeatedly, when that gets brought up, the Packers are not a better team without him. Adams is arguably the best receiver in football right now, and his connection with Rodgers is unmatched. So, again, Davante Adams really doesn't add wins to the win column, but he does bring a lot of confidence to Aaron Rodgers. He is arguably probably the best wide receiver that the Green Bay Packers have. Green Bay Packers coming in at number 2. The MVP candidate that is not a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers would be Davante Adams. Coming in at number 3, Dallas Cowboys. I would not have them number 3 either. Way too high. Look, the Cowboys are not as good as everybody thinks. Their schedule's soft. Their division is the worst in football. Okay, when you play in the worst division in football, it's not hard to be good. You got 6 victories right off the bat. You only got to figure out how to win 4 more to make the playoffs. And the Cowboys have had a soft schedule outside of the fact that they play in the worst division in football. As far as their non-quarterback MVPs go, linebacker Micah Parsons, and who else would it be? That's all they talk about. It's all the national media talks about. And he is the candidate that would be coming out for the Dallas Cowboys if we were talking about an MVP candidate that is not a quarterback. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 4. I would not have them in the top 5. They're 11-4 record-wise. And as far as who their non-quarterback MVP would be, it would be wide receiver Chris Godwin. Godwin is on injured reserve right now, unfortunately, but he has 2 catches shy of 100 receptions, and he still managed to gain 1,103 receiving yards in 14 games when he played this season. Coming in at number 5, I would have them higher in the top 5 for sure, not at number 5, the LA Rams. And their non-quarterback MVP would be wide receiver Cooper Kupp. The annual Aaron Donald Award this season goes to Kupp. That's right, because Aaron Donald is always the guy they say is the MVP. But this year, it's Cooper Kupp. And I would agree. To make the case, he would be the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, if nothing else, because, again, he has been nothing but phenomenal all year long. Absolutely, he has been making the case. That guy has been more important to the Rams than anybody else outside of their quarterback, who, let's face it, he hasn't been consistent all year long. Coming in number 6, Indianapolis Colts at 9-6. Now, their non-quarterback MVP, again, also like Cooper Kupp, most valuable by far, running back Jonathan Taylor. And this is way too easy, right? Taylor isn't only the Colts MVP, he is a legitimate league MVP contender. Taylor leads the NFL in rushing attempts, 297, and in yards at 1,626, and he has 17 touchdowns. He is a workhorse. He's durable. He's reliable. He's dependable, and he is a game changer. Coming in at number 7, Buffalo Bills. Still too high for this team right here. I wouldn't have him at 7, but that's where they got him. The non-quarterback MVP would be safety Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. So safeties, I should say, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Look, Micah Hyde I would agree with. Jordan, not so much. Micah Hyde I would absolutely agree with. Tennessee Titans, I would have them higher and definitely above the Buffalo Bills. Again, Buffalo gets a lot of help from the national media. Again, once they make up their mind who they love, they stay with them. But Tennessee coming in at number 8 at 10-5. Their non-quarterback MVP, defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons is disruptive. He's got game-changing plays. They don't always show in the stat sheet, even though he is among the league leaders in sacks at 7.5. Number 9, New England Patriots with a 9-6 record. Their non-quarterback MVP would be linebacker Matthew Judon. And coming off arguably his most disappointing performance of the season in a 33-21 loss to the Bills when he didn't consistently generate a pass rush, Judon still gets the nod for his overall body of work at 12.5 sacks. Now coming in at number 10, Cincinnati Bengals, the team that you can't rely on. Let's face it, they're unreliable. I don't have this team going far in the playoffs. Matter of fact, I agree with them being in the top 10, but I just don't see them being a threat as far as the playoffs go, and there's a good chance they might not even make it, to be honest. Their non-quarterback MVP, however, would be wide receiver Jamar Chase. Absolutely. Chase has been the catalyst for more dynamic offense than any other player that the Cincinnati Bengals have. At the beginning of the season, he gave the Bengals the explosive plays they were looking for when they drafted him with the 5th overall pick. Coming in at number 11, the Arizona Cardinals. I would probably have them just a little bit lower, maybe somewhere in the top 15, not necessarily number 11. But again, Arizona Cardinals coming in at number 11 with a record of 10-5. The non-quarterback MVP, center Rodney Hudson. Hudson is Kyler Murray's eyes and ears on the line of scrimmage, and he helps set the protection. He alerts Murray and the rest of the offense to formations and takes care of the rest of the linemen on seemingly play-by-play basis. Number 12, San Francisco 49ers, coming in with an 8-7 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, defensive end Nick Bosa. This is extremely difficult given how important offensive tackle Trent Williams and wide receiver Deebo Samuel have been. All three deserve this recognition, but Bosa gets the nod for 2 reasons. He hasn't missed a game all season, which is even more impressive considering he is coming off a torn ACL. This one is tough. Trent Williams, absolutely a very important piece for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel, we all know how important he is to that offense, but there are other pieces to the offense that can make it go. And as far as that defense goes, Nick Bosa has been one of the most important players on that defense. I guess I would agree with that nod there. Coming in at number 13, Philadelphia Eagles with an 8-7 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, cornerback Darius Slay. The Eagles are tied with the Cowboys for the most defensive touchdowns in the NFL at 5. That's mostly because of cornerback Darius Slay. Coming in at number 14, the Baltimore Ravens at 8-7. What a season these guys are having, up and down, but they're not supposed to be in it at all with all the injuries and every problem that they have had all year long. Their quarterback going down a couple of times because he has just overexerted himself all season long because he has played like an MVP candidate. It's unbelievable that they have an 8-7 record and they are currently ranked number 14 in the NFL. However, their non-quarterback MVP, tight end Mark Andrews. Andrews is the runaway winner for the Ravens MVP at this point. He leads all the league tight ends in catches with 93 and receiving yards at 1,187. The LA Chargers coming in at 8-7, ranked number 15. Their non-quarterback MVP safety, Derwin James Jr. James is by far the defensive MVP for this team. He didn't play in Sunday's loss to Houston, and he missed the end of the Week 15 overtime loss to the Chiefs due to a hamstring issue. But without a doubt, when he's out there, he's one of the most important pieces of that defense. The Miami Dolphins coming in at number 16 with an 8-7 record. We all know they're on that 7-game win streak. Their non-quarterback MVP, wide receiver Jalen Waddle. Absolutely, I'd have to agree. Pretty sure I'm not allowed to give this award to Miami's entire defense, but let's present it to the man who makes the Dolphins' offense relevant. The team leader receiver also has been the most consistent, missing only Week 15 with the win over the Jets while he was on reserve COVID-19. So he has been absolutely impressive all year long. I would agree with that all day, every day. Coming in at number 17, Las Vegas Raiders with an 8-7 record. The first-time Pro Bowler, which in this case is the non-quarterback MVP candidate, defensive end Max Crosby. He might not have been eye-popping stat-wise, but he had 6 sacks in 15 games, and he is more than affecting games as the spiritual leader of the reimagined and much-improved defense for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, number 18, New Orleans Saints with a 7-8 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, running back Alvin Kamara. It was hard not to pick a defensive player such as linebacker Demario Davis or cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, since the defense has been New Orleans' driving force this season, which I would agree with all day long. But Kamara has practically been the entire offense because of injuries to wide receiver Michael Thomas and quarterback Jameis Winston and the offensive line. Absolutely no doubt about it. No argument there. Alvin Kamara, as far as the New Orleans Saints go, he would be their non-quarterback MVP. Pittsburgh Steelers coming in at number 19 with a 7-1 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, outside linebacker TJ Watt. I would disagree with this, but let's see what they say. Watt has proved to be a bellwether for the Steelers this season. When Watt plays fewer than 50% of snaps, including games he has missed completely with injury, the Steelers are 0-4-1. Look, TJ Watt, first of all, the problem is he's never on the field. Always injured, just like his brother JJ, overpaid, underdelivers. I disagree with this. There are plenty of other people that the Pittsburgh Steelers could have as their MVP. TJ Watt, definitely not on my radar as far as that goes. Coming in at number 20, Cleveland Browns with a 7-8 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, defensive end Myles Garrett. Whether or not he becomes the Browns' first NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Garrett has certainly been Cleveland's MVP this season, on the way to breaking the franchise's season sack record from his 4.5 sack performance in Week 3 against Chicago to his strip sack and score in Week 14's win over Baltimore. Garrett has been an absolute force. No argument there. Coming to number 21, Denver Broncos with a 7-8 record. Their non-quarterback MVP is safety Justin Simmons. Vic Fangio believes Simmons is an all-pro, not just a Pro Bowler, and the Broncos coach was baffled by Simmons' Pro Bowl snub last week. I don't know if I agree with the Pro Bowl snub. I would agree that Justin Simmons is probably the non-quarterback MVP for the Denver Broncos. Minnesota Vikings coming in ranked number 22 with a 7-8 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, wide receiver Justin Jefferson. The Vikings began to turn their season around when they made a concerted effort to get the ball to Jefferson at the midway point. And there's the problem. Why did they wait till the midway point? They knew what they had in Justin Jefferson as a receiver. It was a mistake not to target him from the word go. Folks, he could make that team, and he could even make Kirk Cousins better. Why they never used him as a primary target until the midseason is my question. Coming to number 23, The Atlanta Falcons with a 7-8 record, their non-quarterback MVP running back Cordero Patterson, after spending the majority of his career as a special teams dynamo who showed flashes of offensive ability, Patterson became a revelation in 2021. Look, I would disagree. This guy, I don't think he is a star running back. I don't think he is the MVP for the Falcons as well. I just absolutely disagree. Even when you look at the stats, you're like, I don't see it. Don't understand it. He's got rushing yards with a total of 579. He has receiving yards with a total of 523. Granted, that gives him 1,000 yards from scrimmage. But with that being said, still, that's just really not a difference maker. The Washington football team coming in at number 24 with a 6-9 record. Their non-quarterback MVP is defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. And the bench fight with teammate Darren Payne on Sunday, notwithstanding, Allen has had a terrific season, resulting in his first Pro Bowl berth. He has been by far the most consistent player and playing at a high level. Okay, I could agree with that. There probably are some other people who could be candidates, but Jonathan Allen is not a bad selection. Chicago Bears coming in with a 5-10 record, ranked number 25. Their non-quarterback MVP defensive end Robert Quinn. The veteran has put together his best campaign yet, and he hasn't slowed down a bit since Khalil Mack was lost for the season. In fact, Quinn has only gotten better with 11.5 sacks in 8 games since Mack's foot injury. I would make the argument that since Khalil Mack went down, and since Khalil Mack wasn't interrupting Robert Quinn from getting sacks, it gave Robert Quinn the ability to pad his stats. That's not a bad thing. It's not a slight. It's not an insult. It's just a fact. When you got 2 stars and they're sharing stats, you're obviously going to have lower stats when you have 2 stars sharing. So in reality, Khalil Mack going down helped Robert Quinn, but as a team, they're better with both of them on the field. Coming in at number 26, you have the Seattle Seahawks with a 5-10 record. Their non-quarterback MVP, free safety, Quandre Diggs. For the first time in years, Russell Wilson wouldn't win team MVP, even if the quarterback were eligible, according to the story. There's a case for wide receivers, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, but you can't give an MVP award to an offensive player when they really, for the most part, underperformed, without a doubt. And I would agree with that. So with that being said, free safety, Quandre Diggs, the obvious choice for the Seattle Seahawks. Coming in at number 27, Carolina Panthers with a 5-10 record. And their non-quarterback MVP would be outside linebacker Hassan Reddick. Not only does Reddick lead the team in sacks with 11, he's been the key to helping young players understand the process that Coach Matt Rule preaches in regard to turning the organization around. Look, Reddick has always been a very valuable player. He has always been a benchmark and a staple on defense. I have no quarrels with him being the candidate at all. Number 28, Houston Texans with a 4-11 record. Their non-quarterback MVP would be wide receiver Brandon Cooks. Coming into the season, it was clear the Texans didn't have a lot of depth at receiver behind Cooks, although Cooks missed the Texans' Week 16 contest while on reserve COVID-19. A game, by the way, that Houston won. He has been the best player on the team. Cooks had just 55 yards shy of reaching 1,000 receiving yards for the 6th time in his 8 NFL seasons. Coming in at number 29, the New York Giants with a 4-11 record. Their non-quarterback MVP would be kicker Graham Gano. Look, that just shows you how bad of a season the Giants have had. Seriously, that really honestly shows you how bad of a season the Giants have had when they consider the kicker to be your MVP. That's just bad. The New York Jets with a 4-11 record. Their non-quarterback MVP running back Michael Carter, the rookie who quickly emerged as the Jets running back, has a team-high 865 yards from scrimmage, 25th among NFL running backs, and he missed 3 games. Look, 25th among NFL running backs, I don't know that that's great. I don't think it is. But again, you're the New York Jets. You don't have much. Your coach isn't very good. Your ownership isn't very good. You don't really have structure. You don't have a culture. Jets are in a lot of trouble. Detroit Lions, 2-12-1, come in at number 31. Their non-quarterback MVP linebacker Jalen Reeves This isn't an obvious choice, with more notable names on the roster, including running back DeAndre Swift, tight end TJ Hawkinson, and even rookie wideout Amon-Ra St. Brown. However, Reeves-Maybin is a player who exemplifies the culture of hard work and tenacity that first-year Lions coach Dan Campbell is trying to build in Detroit. I could agree with this one. I don't have a problem with it in any way, shape, or form. Jacksonville Jaguars in the final spot with a 2-13 record. Their non-quarterback MVP punter, Logan Cook. Again, when your punter and your kicker are considered your non-quarterback MVPs, that shows you just how bad your season has been. All right, that's going to do it for today's podcast. Obviously, we got a lot of very important games coming up this weekend. We will go over the results of all those games on Monday. Again, we have shortened our podcast week from Monday to Thursday. You guys enjoy all the action. Don't forget, tomorrow, you've got the two games that are going to decide who's going to be playing in the national championship. Michigan against Georgia, Alabama against Cincinnati. I'll give you my picks now. I think Michigan pulls up the upset over Georgia, and I think Alabama rolls over Cincinnati. National championship, I think, is going to belong to Michigan and Alabama battling it out January 10th, provided that COVID-19 doesn't rear its ugly head. Again, you guys enjoy your weekend. We will talk again on Monday.